Thank you. Representative Moulton.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Our new ranking member laid out an important and comprehensive list of ways in which the current administration has weakened America's posture of deterrence against the Chinese Communist Party. Now, you interjected after his testimony that you disagree because of one thing, the major arms deal that this administration has put forward toward Taiwan. And our colleague, Mr. Barr, just laid out his own list of things that he claims are enhanced deterrence, but are almost all things that came from the bipartisan bill out of the Armed Services Committee in Congress on which I served. Trump just signed that bill, I would note, after repeatedly threatening not to for political reasons. So I'd just like to share some observations of this administration's China policy. These are all quotes. Let's start with that arms deal. The Trump administration's record-breaking $11 billion arms sale to Taiwan in December, which will take many years to fully deliver, was merely a pretext for the latest step in Beijing's long-running campaign of rising coercion. Another quote, ever since Xi out-escalated Trump in 2025, culminating in the U.S. president's climb down on tariffs and export controls, the White House has conspicuously avoided meaningful statements of support for Pacific allies and partners, even as Beijing has increased its military threats towards Japan and Taiwan. Trump has approved selling to Beijing, for no concessions in return, advanced American AI chips that will help the Chinese military accelerate technological gains over the U.S. military. Some more. Trump drives EU trade war over Greenland. China, Russia see opportunity. Another, solidifying a detente with Xi Jinping that, in a reversal of years of U.S. policy, would more closely integrate China into U.S. manufacturing and supply chains. The Venezuela raids, potential for strengthening U.S. deterrence of China around Taiwan, another issue cited by my colleague, is outweighed by Trump's conciliatory posture towards Beijing in recent months. Washington's political posture towards China hints at hesitancy and irresolution. Trump's evolving foreign policy, with its focus on the near abroad and aversion to upsetting Beijing, could encourage Xi Jinping to accelerate his goal of annexing Taiwan. Do you know where these quotes come from? Mr. Chairman, every one of these statements is from Matt Pottinger, former Deputy National Security Advisor under Trump, the first Trump administration's China lead, completely eviscerating the arguments that we just heard. Mr. Chairman, you noted the bipartisan tradition of this committee, and you and I both remember Kurt Campbell, President Biden's China lead, when he told us how much he respected Matt Pottinger, a Democrat saying he respected him, and how closely aligned their policies were. Well, here's a reality. There is far more alignment between the first Trump administration and the Biden administration than between the first Trump administration and the second Trump administration when it comes to China policy. And that's why the architect of these policies has laid out, in far more quotes than I had the time to cite this morning, how dangerous they are. The stakes are too high here, because what we're talking about is deterrence, preventing a war that would not just cost Taiwan its freedom and independence and millions of lives, but will cost America perhaps hundreds of thousands, if not millions of lives as well, a war that could literally be World War III. Now, this is exactly why the witnesses have called for passing a congressional resolution about our China policy, to solidify what we know is bipartisan concern about this administration's China policy for all the reasons we've heard laid out today. The problem is that that bipartisan concern is in private. It's our committee's responsibility to make it public. That's our constitutional duty, to serve as a check and balance on the administration, not a mouthpiece for it. So I hope we can do that, and I hope we can come together in an honest, forthright, bipartisan way to support strengthening our posture of deterrence towards China and strengthening the alliance between Taiwan and the United States of America. I yield back.